Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Comcast Sportsnet brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of this Interleague Series. The Astros meet the Cincinnati Reds. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Dusty Baker's Reds won last night, and they are right in the thick of the NL Central race. The Astros would love to be spoilers. They get 2 more shots at the Reds, Ash.
Cincinnati Reds made it look pretty easy last night, scoring 6 runs and pitching well. Kind of night where you can have an easy time against a club like the Astros at this point of the year.
It's not been easy, though, for any pitcher to slow down Jose Altuve in the month of September. He has just been something to watch.
Just tearing it up, leading the major leagues in hits, and just keeps compiling multi-hit games, hitting .439 in the month. You can see the on-base percentage is spectacular, although obviously not drawing walks. On the OPS, very good. And in the month of August, he came off of that 200 month, so this has been a complete turnaround for Jose Altuve.
He's using all fields. He pulls the ball here. He goes to right center quite a bit. It's been fun to watch him, man.
It really has been fun. And he's actually driving in runs right now. He's a guy you can count on to pick up the RBIs. Had the 1 home run right there, driving one to left field as he turned on one. But most of his hits going back up the middle and to right field.
And for the Astros, and Jordan Lyles will be their starter, Mr. Unstoppable for the Reds that he'll be facing is Joey Votto, especially at Minute Maid Park.
Joey Votto is just one of the game's great hitters. Last night, a couple of opposite field shots. Joey Votto has a 22-game hitting streak here at Minute Maid Park and a career average of .369 against Houston in 67 games. So he knows what he's doing. And again, you go back to the fact that he just simply is one of the game's great hitters.
Coming up, right here from Minute Maid Park, Jose Altuve and the Astros try to derail Brandon Phillips and the Reds' playoff push. We'll have more in just a moment.
And the Cincinnati Reds are here for a 3-game series. The Astros hoping to tie it all up tonight, and they'll hand the ball over to Jordan Lyles, who is the longest tenured pitcher in this starting rotation. Hard to believe that he's only 22 years old. He'll turn 23 next month in October, and he's coming off 3 really great starts, going at least 6 innings in each of those 3 and not giving up more than 3 runs. He's had an interesting last 7 games as well. He's 3-1 with a hold and his first major league save. He has a 3.57 ERA, showing off his versatility there. Lyles trying to finish strong and put himself in good position to lead this starting rotation in 2014. He's even tweaked a couple things mechanically, trying to throw more downhill. He said after his last start, it's definitely been working, giving him more confidence. Gotta like the numbers he has against the Reds, too. 2-0 with a 3.60 ERA. The young pitcher will make his 5th appearance against the Reds tonight. Coming up, it's the Astros and Reds. Game 2 of the series starts next. Don't go anywhere.
Southwest Airlines. Find our fares only at southwest.com. And by Capital One. Spark unlimited business checking from Capital One Bank with unlimited transactions. Inside Minute Maid Park, having fun out there in the fun zone, and down in the Astros dugout, they're about to take the field to try to snap a 3-game losing streak. The Astros with a record of 51-99, taking the field with right-handed starter Jordan Lyles headed for the hill to face this Reds club, which picked up a game on both teams ahead of it in the NL Central last night. Pittsburgh and St. Louis both lost, so the Reds find themselves 2.5 back in 3rd place with this starting lineup for Dusty Baker. Shin-Soo Choo center field, Brandon Phillips second base, Joey Votto first base, Jay Bruce right field, Xavier Paul DH, Todd Frazier third base, Zach Cozart shortstop, Devin Mesoraco catcher, Derek Robinson left fielder.
On the mound for the Astros, it is right-hander Jordan Lyles. Lyles, over his last 3 games, has been quite effective, working at least 6 innings in each of those ball games and allowing just a total of 7 earned runs, just 1 in his last start. That in a win at Seattle against the Mariners. But Jordan Lyles trying to keep a nice little run going as he finishes his year. Defensively behind Lyles tonight, the Astros will line him up with Carlos Corporan, the vet behind the plate. Around the infield, Chris Carter, Jose Altuve, Jonathan Villar, and Matt Dominguez. In the outfield, it's Brandon Barnes in center, Jimmy Prentice in right, and in left field, Mark Krause.
Inside Minute Maid Park, where the Astros have won 24 and lost 52. This is the next to last game on this homestand. There will be one homestand remaining of just 3 games against the New York Yankees after the Astros and Reds play the finale of this series tomorrow night. And the Astros will set sail. Mr. Baker's club also leaving Houston after tomorrow night. He's in his 6th year as Reds manager. 504 wins, 457 losses. 3rd on the all-time Reds managerial win list. Behind Cooperstown Hall of Famers Sparky Anderson and Bill McKechnie. And Baker's 16th in history among managerial wins, behind Jim Leland. Chu has been quite the leadoff man at 287 with 21 homers, 51 runs batted in, 424 on base average. That's second in the National League. He has scored 102 runs. That also is second, and he's walked 104 times. Last night, Chu walked 3 more times. He was 0 for 2 in that game. The Reds won it 6-1. Lyles delivers, and it's ball 1. Jordan is 2-0 in his career against Cincinnati. Got his first major league win against the Reds. His ERA against them in 4 games is 3.60. It's a foul ball, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He last faced the Reds June 3rd of 2012 and beat them. Got his first major league win against the Reds August 3rd, 2011 here at Minute Maid Park. Ground ball to first base, fielded by Carter, and that's out number 1 for Lyles. Well, the way Chu's been getting on base, that's a relief. And Brandon Phillips comes up.
A lineup that last night for Cincinnati was taking a lot of pitches early in the count. This time on the 1-0 count, Shin-Soo Choo swinging right away and swung on the following pitch as well.
263 for Phillips, 18 bombs. He's driven in 101. That's second in the league, the RBI figure for Brandon. He looks at it, and it's ball 1 to Phillips. Phillips had 1 hit in 5 at-bats last night.
Sure would be inclined here early in the ball game to throw as high a percentage option of pitch for a strike early in the count to these guys, the Reds, as possible, and maybe change their philosophy.
They were doing a lot of taking last night. That's a high chop. Lyles backhanding, setting, and he throws it by Carter, and now Phillips turns for second base. Carter gets to it. Phillips is going to stop at second. That looked like a catchable throw. Looked like it was going to be a good play for Lyles. Carter reached down to the backhand side, and the ball eluded him.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think it was a good throw, but it was catchable, and somehow just gets right on by Chris Carter. You can see not a good swing by Brandon Phillips, but that is not an ideal throw by any stretch of the imagination by Jordan Lyles. But I think you're always, when you do make this kind of throw, hopeful that your first baseman can come up with a play.
Lyles is charged with a 2-base throwing error on that play. Now Joey Votto with his 22-game Minute Maid Park hitting streak, the longest by anybody in this ballpark. 433 on base average. Votto shoots a line drive into left center field. Phillips broke back to second. He'll get to third as the throw comes in from Krause to second base on the single by Votto, make it a 23-game hitting streak at Minute Maid Park.
And the 2 hits last night were just like this. Line drives into left field. Joey Votto seeing the ball very well and swinging early in the count. So the Reds look like a completely different club in philosophy tonight from last night.
Now it's Jay Bruce from Beaumont, Texas. He always has his fans here at Minute Maid Park. Jay last night had 2 hits and 4 at-bats. He drove in a couple of runs, walked, and scored twice. So now at 95 runs batted in with 29 homers. There's a delay while something is retrieved from the warning track in left field. Krause flips it up to one of the fans. Well, Jay Bruce has been something in his career. He started out with 21 homers in his rookie season of 08, and he has improved in home runs every single year. He would need to hit 35 to keep that improvement going. That's a strike to Bruce. So that would mean 6 home runs would have to be hit by Jay Bruce between now and the end of the season to continue that fantastic home run improvement for the 6th consecutive year. That's rarely been done in baseball history. Double play depth for Villar and Altuve. And that's strike two. Bruce is tied for the league lead in extra base hits in the National League. Matt Carpenter of St. Louis is tied with him. They both have 68 extra base hits. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
We mentioned Matt Carpenter last night. What a year he's putting together for the Cardinals. And I think one of the key guys as to why the Cardinals have been so good once again.
Yeah, they just have had some kind of a year from Carpenter and some other players who have been so much better than they had been in the past. Matt Adams fouled away, still 1-2. And David Freese has not had the kind of year he had in the past at third base, but nonetheless, the Redbirds are right there tied with Pittsburgh for the top spot in the NL Central. And the Reds trying to play catch up. They will be headed for Pittsburgh after the Wednesday night game here. They have an off day Thursday. They'll be playing the Pirates 6 more times before the end of the year. And now it's 2-2 as Bruce gets back into the count.
Like that effort trying to come in with the four-seamer and try to pick away at that inside corner. See that job of trying to frame it back over the plate by Corcoran.
Big pitch coming here on 2-2. And toss goes to first. Now Bruce is the only player in Major League history to hit at least 20 homers his first year and then increase that total the next 4 years. And he fouls that one back with Paul on deck. Bruce needs 1 home run to become just the 6th player in Reds history to have 30 homers for 3 straight years. Ted Kluszewski did it in the 50s. Frank Robinson did it. Lee May, George Foster, and Adam Dunn.
That is a pretty impressive list to be a part of.
It really is. Bruce hits a flare to shallow left field. Villar sprints out for it. Villar near the left field line, sliding. He made the play. Krause comes up with it and throws to the plate, and the run scores. Now it dropped. Looked like he got it, but it dropped in. So it's 1-0 Reds as Bruce winds up at first base. Phillips scores on the play, and Votto gets to second.
I don't know what Krause is thinking in left field as this ball lands. He eventually throws to home plate, but that's not a first immediate reaction. He glances to second and now glances back toward the plate and then throws in that direction as the runner takes off. That might have been a preventable run.
Might have been now that we saw that replay.
That is very unusual.
Bruce winds up with his 96th run batted in on the looping single. And Xavier Paul's the batter. 238 for Paul, 7 homers, 32 runs batted in. Outside ball 1. Paul's been around with several different major league clubs. 28 years old. He was with the Reds last year, had just 86 at bats with them. He came up with the Dodgers in 09. He's been in the Pittsburgh and Washington organizations as well. 4th round pick of the Dodgers in 03. Been Dusty Baker's DH this year. He's making his 5th start at DH. 1 ball, 1 strike to Paul.
That was an effective looking changeup.
Reds are 3rd in the National League in runs scored. They have 653 runs this year. They're 2nd in on base average. Lyles gets a call there, and it's 1-2. Marvin Hudson is the home plate umpire. Last night the Reds got 2 in the 2nd inning, 2 more in the 4th, and 2 in the 5th to beat Houston 6-1.
Right there in that bottom of the knees range. Obviously Paul didn't like it and takes it out on a little stroll away from home plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Paul was born in Slidell, Louisiana.
Well, Paul, like other Cincinnati Reds hitters, seem to really enjoy this stroll away from the plate.
Must be their culture.
I wonder if it's something that's talked about, of trying to clear the mind.
We'll have to ask Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach, tomorrow night. That's high for ball 3, and it's a full count. Votto that time was going back to second base. Votto's looking over and gesturing toward his third base coach, Mark Berry. Dusty Baker's club shooting for win number 86 of the year, 9-6 in the month of September. Having lost 2 of 3 in each of the 2 previous series against the Cubs in Milwaukee. Runners go on 3-2. It's ball 4 and the bases are loaded as Paul draws the walk.
All starts with a routine play and a poor throw to first base, and now you fall behind and you've got the bases loaded and a chance for the Reds to put up a big first inning.
And it's been a 19-pitch inning so far for Lyles. VR comes in. Todd Frazier will bat. Frazier, the 27-year-old third baseman, has driven in 1 more run than he did last year for Cincinnati. 68 runs batted in. 4 for 13 with the bases loaded. 12 of his runs batted in have come in these opportunities. Frazier's hit .314 in his last 14 games. He didn't do much in the first half this year. That's ball 1 to Frazier. A few days ago, when the Great 8, as they call the Reds starting lineup from the mid-70s, who won back-to-back World Series, were in town for a Joe Morgan sculpture. Pete Rose pulled Frazier aside, and they had a chat. Things have gone better since then for Frazier. Rose is not allowed to formally interact with Reds personnel, but he met Frazier in a tunnel that ran from the clubhouse past the box seats behind home plate to the field, and they chatted briefly.
Tunnels are unofficial, apparently.
Apparently so. Now ball goes foul, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count. Washington won game 1 of its doubleheader. It's a split doubleheader, so game 2 is tonight, beating the Atlanta Braves in its final at bat on a rare error by Andrelton Simmons following a couple of walks by Craig Kimbrell. That's also another rarity. So Washington is 4.5 back of Cincinnati in the wild card race right now. That's a shot into left field. That'll score Votto. Bruce with a stop sign, and it's 2-0 Reds. RBI single Frazier. 69th run batted in.
Well, again, the Reds with a chance to really turn this into a big scoring inning, and it didn't have to be.
You know, all too often, things like errors and plays that have not been made, different items like that on the agenda, have spiraled for the Astros and sent the club down the chute and out of control. Right now it's 2-0. That's a manageable deficit. But the Astros coming into this game had allowed 73 unearned runs this year. Now it's Zach Cozart. Cozart hit a homer last night. He drove in 4 to get him to 11 homers and 59 runs batted in with a .253 batting average. Before last night's game, the Reds had gone 0 for their last 13 with the bases loaded, but they ended that last night. And it's foul back, strike 1. Cozart homered last year off Lyles, and he is 3 for 5 against Jordan. Second round pick in 07 from Memphis, Tennessee, and the Mississippi Rebels. Off the end of the bat, it is over first base. It's down the right field line. That'll score 1 and maybe a couple. And here's the throw to the plate. It's off Carter's mitt, and it winds up being a 2-run single by Cozart. Another 2-run hit. That's his 3rd of the series so far, driving in 2. So 6 runs batted in already in this series for Cozart, and a 4-0 lead.
Sometimes the softer you hit them, the better they are. And that's the case here. Little bleeder to the right field side. And the Astros botch. It doesn't have any impact on the play, but it just doesn't look right. You botch this throw coming back into the infield. Carter is presumably the cutoff man, and he's unable to come up with the throw.
What is this, a bread concert? Soft hits.
Ooh.
Devin Mesoraco, the batter, 246, 9 homers.
Elevator even.
Roller to shortstop, VR to second, and Altuve to first for a double play. And it's a 4-run Cincinnati first with 4 hits, 1 costly error, and a man left. Reds 4, Astros coming up. For game 2 of this series, Jonathan VR shortstop, Jose Altuve second base, Mark Krause left field, Matt Dominguez third base, Brett Wallace DH, Chris Carter first base, Carlos Corcoran catcher, Brandon Barnes center field, Jimmy Paredes right field.
Right-hander Mike Leake on the mound for the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. 29 starts on the year, 13-6 on his year, and an ERA at 3.35. 20 homers allowed in 182 innings, so maybe just a bit above where he'd like to be there. He's been about equally effective against right-handers and left-handers on the course of the year, and doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. So get ready to swing the bat.
He is a good competitor. League 25 years old. He was a first-round choice in 2009 from Arizona State. Jonathan VR, 284, has 1 homer, 8 runs batted in. Showing bunt, 8 takes, and there's strike 1. Jonathan VR. Leake was 8-9 last year for Cincinnati with a 4.58. It's a bounce-back season for him. There's a liner by the shortstop. Cozart into left center field, and VR is aboard, and he's still going. Here's the throw into second. It's dropped by Phillips. He still got him out. He made the tag in between his legs as he regained control of it, and VR slid right into the tag.
I have never seen a tag like this, and Jonathan VR again tries to make something happen where maybe the odds are against it, and it once again costs him. Chu hustles, gets the ball back in, and look at this tag.
Okay, he didn't drop it. He just held the glove back. Did he really tag him?
I don't know. I think left hand of VR got on bag before the glove touched the chest.
Face hit rear end before a tag occurred.
Mark Sanchez has nothing on Jonathan VR.
Phillips got rear-ended on that one, and there's Altuve taking strike 1. Altuve's on a 4-game hitting streak. 1 ball, 1 strike. 286 for Altuve, 5 homers, 52 runs batted in. Kind of a blind tag, you might say. He got the call on it. 2 balls and a strike. Marty Foster made the out call, probably one of the strangest he's ever made, given the nature of that tag by Brandon Phillips.
How did Phillips see that one coming?
He evidently had somebody telling him that the runner was coming behind him. Backhand and drop. Cozart will not get Altuve. And Altuve, who leads the majors in batting average in September, will reach, but probably not on a hit.
This ultimately not a real difficult play. That was easy to set the feed and get in position to throw. Cozart simply can't come up with it cleanly.
Error on Cozart is 14th. Now Altuve has reached for Mark Krause. Krause, a 200 hitter, has 4 home runs. He's driven in 13. Takes a look at it. It's strike 1. Krause has had 105 at bats with the Astros. Left-handed hitters actually are not hitting for as high an average against Mike Leake as right-handed batters this year. Leake has been getting a lot of ground ball outs. Over third base. There's a hustling try, and coming up just short, Frazier. Would have been a terrific over-the-shoulder catch, but ruled no play as the Dodger fan gives him a little fist bump.
Is that Tommy Lasorda?
It was
I saw Tommy down there.
Somebody in Jackie Robinson jersey, but it wasn't Tommy.
Well, this has been an intriguing start to a ball game. We've had just a variety of efforts. Yeah, that was number 42, the retired number.
The weirdness quotient of this one is running high early.
Extremely so.
Krause has hit in 6 of his last 7 games. Up there with an 0-2 count now against Leake. And taking 1 ball, 1 strike. Leake has had an improved fastball. Though the batting average against that pitch is .296. Lately he's been getting better results with it. Leake has pitched 9 times as a starter against the Astros, with a record of 5-4 and an ERA of 3.76 against Houston for his career. It's 2-2. You talked about the fact that he's done a good job of keeping the walks manageable, just 46 of those in 183 innings. That's been the hallmark of his career so far in the big leagues. He went straight from Arizona State to the majors, the 21st player to make that jump, skipping all the minor league stops straight to the big leagues. Bouncer goes foul and we'll get out of the way in the Astros dugout.
You love to have these guys in the rotation that are going to give you 200 innings a year, provide a winning record, and they're not easy to come by.
Leake was a midfielder in soccer and a point guard in basketball. Also a punter and a kicker in football in high school. Quite an athlete. And he throws to first with those quick feet. He can turn and get the ball to first and surprise a few base runners. There have been 8 steals in 12 tries against Mike Leake. Krause hit a home run Sunday against the Angels here. This is his second stint with the Astros. VR made the first out, trying to hustle and get to second base.
Jonathan VR looked like he was trying to deal with maybe a lip issue. I don't know. Is that just a frustration issue? Hard to say.
Might have come from that collision with Brandon Phillips when he went into second base there. His face ramming into the backside of Phillips. Might have a cut.
Kind of redefines headbutt, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. A bit of a cut inside his mouth. 3-2, and there's a liner into right field. Altuve will get to second, and he's coming to third. Here's the throw from Jay Bruce going on through. Whoa! Wow. That was close. He did not slide.
Wow.
And that was really close at third base.
There's no doubt Todd Frazier thinks he got it. Maybe a little bluff into the bag there. Sure, Dave Tremblay was trying to tell Altuve to get down. Number 1, nice hitting by Krause as he drills it into right field. And now Altuve, he knows right away he's going to third base. You better get down, however. Dave Tremblay was not down. He's just signaling stand up at the bag. And he beats it.
Dave must have thought that throw was going to be cut off.
Yeah, he must have.
Ooh, base running.
Otherwise, hands are down pointing at the bag. You get down here.
And Dominguez takes strike 1. 20 homers, 75 runs batted in, a .242 average for Domingo. Yeah, we couldn't fault Altuve for not sliding. He was told to stand up. .285 on base average for Domingo. He was 0 for 4 with an RBI on a ground out last night for the Astros' only run. Out to shortstop. Kozar with the toss. Phillips the middleman. Low throw dug out by Votto on a 6-4-3 double play, making it no runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and a man left. 4-0 Reds.
Friday, September 27th is the final big and bright Friday night of the season. The Astros take on the New York Yankees at 7:10. Don't forget to stick around after the game for the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. It's featuring the top songs of 2013. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets. Guys.
Julia, while you were away over the weekend, we were looking for nominees for the top song of 2013, so you missed out on that. So we'll let you weigh in if you choose to do so.
I'm going to have to brainstorm for a second.
All right. Derek Robinson leads it off.
We didn't have that capability.
Strike one to Robinson. 247 for Derek. No homers and 7 runs batted in. He was a stolen base champ in the minor leagues. Puts this one in the air. VR out to left field looking at Mark Krause. Krause puts it away. That's out number 1. So Ludwig, who's been rested occasionally on the Pines tonight as Robinson gets the start in left field for Dusty Baker. And it's back to Shin-Soo Choo. Choo grounded out to Carter leading off the game. He figures to be in for a very hefty payday as a free agent after this season. Had a very good year, and with free agency looming for Choo, he's gone from a run producer as he was with Cleveland to a big time run scorer and a center fielder this year. Altuve over to Carter. 2 outs as Lyles now tries to get on track. In that 4-run first, 3 of the runs were earned. The run scored by Brandon Phillips on the error by Lyles was the unearned tally in that frame. And now Phillips comes around for the second time. Phillips was the Reds club MVP last year. 3rd time that's happened for this 32-year-old second baseman.
And creative tagger.
You got that right. He's won 3 Gold Gloves. That's strike 1. He does make some plays that no other second baseman make. We saw one of those on that tag of VR. There's a shot into right field. Good hitting by Phillips because the pitch was on that nice plane toward the catcher's mitt from Jordan Lyles, and Phillips just punched it right into right field for a 2-out single.
Yeah, he's a very good player, and he's willing to step out of the box of normal in this game, and we saw that with the tag.
That was far from normal. You don't always get normalcy at a baseball game. Joey Votto looks at ball 1. Votto singled sharply into left field. Votto, a 4-time All-Star. Boy, has he hit in this ballpark.
The first inning didn't provide us anything from the box of normal, did it?
Not a thing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Play after play out of the norm. Votto in this ballpark has hit .430 in 34 games, 135 at bats. He takes that pitch, and it's a 2-ball, 1 strike count to Joey, who's worked 120 walks this year. Of course, that batting average here in Minute Maid Park is his best in any ballpark with the exception of old Yankee Stadium. He had 12 at bats there with 7 hits. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Votto had an 11-game extra base hit streak here. Jeff Bagwell had an 11-game extra base hit streak at Candlestick Park, 93 through 95. Time call. Blue Jays lead the Yankees in Toronto. It's 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning with Andy Pettitte on the losing end of that one. Colby Rasmus home run, his 21st of the year. In tight to Votto, and it's a full count with 2 outs. And Phillips, the base runner, about ready to take off.
Can't blame Lyles at all for trying to pitch in on the hands hard to Joey Votto, who has 3 hits all to left field here in the series.
You bet. A lot of his hits this year have come to left field.
Boy, these signs are hard to come by right now.
Jason Castro has been placed on the 15-day disabled list, shut down for the season with that right knee problem. Phillips has a huge lead. He takes off. This fly ball goes to left. Mark Krause waiting for it. Krause with the catch, and it's no runs a hit and a man left. It's 4-0 Reds.
Tune into Chevy Hometown Kids. That's every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. on CSN. Chevy Hometown Kids, where it's not about the score, but the experience, guys.
Thanks, Julia. Kids here tonight. I've watched the Reds get 4 in the top of the first inning. Now the Astros come up in the bottom of the second with Brett Wallace to lead it off against Mike Leake. Leake shooting for win number 14 of the season. Matt Latos leads the Red staff with 14 victories. He'll pitch in Pittsburgh Friday night. Wallace goes for the first pitch, hits it in the air, and here's Derek Robinson in left. That's one out on one pitch for Mike Leake. Wallace, who was 1 for 4 last night, is retired, and now it's Chris Carter. Carter had a double in last night's game, 1 for 4. With 27 homers, he leads the club with 77 runs batted in. He also is the club leader. His batting average is .219. Strike one for Leake. Padres lead the Pirates 4-2. Bottom of the 5th inning in Pittsburgh. No balls, 2 strikes. Jed Jerko hit his 19th home run for San Diego. The Padres hit the Pirates last night. Bronson Arroyo there on the bench. 36-year-old veteran is 13-11. Leake gets his first strikeout. And that's number 200 of the year for Carter.
Yeah, it's a big strikeout historically, punching into that realm you don't want to enter.
6th player to reach that figure. Carlos Corcoran comes up now. Carlos at .235, has 7 homers, 18 runs batted in. Jason Castro talked with the media tonight before the game. He said he's not sure if he'll be making the road trip or not, having been placed on the 15-day disabled list, which effectively ends his season now. And he's been trying to get back with that right knee. The cyst was drained several days ago, and doing what he could do, but it just has not allowed him to return to the playing field. Popped up. Frazier gets underneath it. In the second, it goes quickly for Leake, and the Reds lead 4-0 after 2. Placed on the 15-day disabled list, so his season effectively has ended. General Manager Jeff Luhnow talked about Jason before the game, and this is our Geico quote.
As a general manager, one of the key pieces that you think about from day one is catching, and to get a catcher who not only can give you good skills behind the plate, good leadership with the pitching staff, but produce offensively what Jason did this year puts us in a unique position.
So now as Jeff watches, Jason Castro joins Max Stassi. And Stassi will rejoin the Astros Monday at Texas. He's headed for Florida to do some catching there. There's a drive by Jay Bruce deep into center field, way back, and turning Brandon Barnes with a nice retreating catch for out number 1. Barnes up on Towles Hill.
Certainly is a different look offense for the Cincinnati Reds tonight. Much more willing to go after pitches early in the count. That a starter curveball.
Yeah.
Nothing different from Brandon Barnes, though.
Just hit it to where a lot of balls go to die, about 420 feet away. Dead central, a great place to get outs in this ballpark, especially with Barnes out there. Xavier Paul's the batter. He's also shooting for that first pitch and fouling it. There's strike 1. Jeff Locke of the Pirates gave up 4, 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th inning. And Padres, with Eric Stultz on the mound, have that 4-2 lead. Inside to Paul, that evens the count at 1-1. And the Cardinals, of course, had their disappointment last night at Colorado. They have not yet started tonight's game there. Well, the Reds, who gained a game on both Pittsburgh and St. Louis last night, are hoping for that same tonight. Rolled out to shortstop. VR onto Carter, 2 down. Let's check the wild card standings in the National League. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, as you know, are tied for the lead, and then Cincinnati in the wild card, trailing by 2.5 on those clubs in the division, but in the lead for the second position in the wild card. So either Pittsburgh or St. Louis could be considered the wild card leader. And then Washington 4.5.
I was going to say 2 weeks ago I wouldn't have guessed that Washington might put some heat on in regards to that last wild card spot.
True. Now Frazier looks at ball 1. Washington has that other game tonight in the split doubleheader with the Atlanta Braves, and that is going Washington's way 1-0 after 6 right now. So if Washington does sweep that doubleheader, now there are more signs of life from the Nationals, and they're still not out of the hunt, although on the fringes of it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's going to be really difficult for them to get in.
All they can do, I would say, in a sense, the pressure's off them. Just keep going out and playing good baseball. Easier said than done.
Frazier takes it, and it's a 2 ball, 2 strike count. The Texas Rangers are rebounding tonight from their 7-game losing streak. They lead at Tampa Bay 6-1 in the middle of the 6th inning. Grounder, and Dominguez can't come up with it. He was backing up on it, and then it looked like he took it off the leg. Frazier reaching.
I talk about that second hop for a third baseman all the time, and this is the classic case. 1, 2, and this one right in between. Do you play in? Do you play back? It'll just eat you up.
Ruled a single for Frazier, and now Zach Cozart's the batter. He had the 2-run single to right field. There's strike 1. Ian Kinsler hit his 12th home run tonight for Texas. Elvis Andrus number 3. We thought probably error, right?
That was my thought process. Kinsler, not an easy play.
No. Kinsler hit the first pitch of the game for a homer tonight. 0-2. The Rangers, during their 7-game losing streak, had hit no home runs, and they had not led in any of those 7 games. So they set a totally different tone as Kinsler went deep off Jeremy Hellickson to lead off the ball game tonight. Elvis Andrus hit his 3rd. For Tampa Bay, Jose Lobaton number 7. Runner takes off on 0-2. Here's the throw from Corcoran sailing, and there's a stolen base for Frazier. Number 6 of the year for him.
Ultimately, Corp not given much, if any, of a shot here to be able to cut down the stolen base. That's just kind of getting into a rhythm. You could see the easy takeoff at first base by Frazier.
One and 2 to Cozart. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes for Jordan Lyles. Last night, Eric Bedard was the starter. He went 4 innings. Lucas Harrell went 5 in relief.
Just asking a little bit too much of that frame job there for Corp.
The Texas Rangers had an 8-game lead over Cleveland in the wild card race at the end of August. So they're really trying to regroup. It's a liner over Altuve, and that'll plate another run to make it 5-0. And here's the throw into second base. A very good peg by Jimmy Paredes. Cozart with a 3 RBI game tonight after driving in 4 last night.
Kind of an expose here this evening put on by the Reds and what the Astros actually need to shore up here as you head toward next year. Defensively, we saw a whole lot in the first inning. In this inning, that inability to shut down a stolen base that leads to a man being in scoring position. always work on things, and defensively probably where you see them most.
Throw to first, diving back in. There's Cozart on the pitch to Mesoraco. Strike one to Mesoraco, who bounced into a double play in the first. Ryan Hannigan did the catching last night for the Reds. Reds are 5 for 5 with runners in scoring position in this game. Let's see, Mesoraco bounced into a double play in the first, so this should be 5 for 6. Frazier was a third on that one.
That's not going to spoil their night.
Well, yeah, 5 for 6 by the third inning. 5-0 lead. Reds have won 8 of their last 10 at Minute Maid Park. Dusty Baker talks quite a bit to Bo Porter on the phone, evidently, according to their conversation around the batting cage today. But Dusty said, we really need this game. He said, I know they're trying to avoid their 100th loss, but we really need this game. They suffered a tough one at Milwaukee on Sunday. A walk-off homer. Off the end of the bat, shallow center field. Barnes in for it with the catch. In the third inning, it's 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left. The Reds lead it 5-0. Third, right after tonight's tweet of the game, brought to you by AT&T, and pregame ceremonies here for the Roberto Clemente Award. Each team has a nominee. Jose Altuve is the Astros nominee for the prestigious Roberto Clemente Award. Roberto Clemente Jr. there on the field with Astros GM Jeff Luhnow and a representative of Chevrolet, handing him that trophy, emblematic of his being nominated as the Astros representative for that award.
That's a huge honor for anybody. For Jose Altuve, I certainly would think that he would feel extremely honored in just that mere nomination.
He certainly should. It is an honor. Now Brandon Barnes steps up. It's the last of the third. He's hit .349 in his last 15 games. The Astros trail 5-0. He gets a first pitch strike from Leake. And you see the bases with that Clemente day, September 17th, 2013. In fact, Cheo Cruz and Jose Altuve were out at an autograph session today. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
I had dinner with Cheo Cruz, and I am honored in just doing that.
Line shot into Leake's glove for out number 1. Did Cheo have rice and beans?
He did not. I think he's had enough of that through the years to take care of things. You can see a pretty nice fielding position by Leake there as he handles this line drive.
Good athlete.
He sets himself up well to be able to make the play.
Yeah, Jimmy Paredes, the batter, on a 4-game hitting streak, a 198 average with 1 homer, 10 runs batted in for Paredes. During his 4-game streak, he's 5 for 15. Started in right field Saturday against the Angels and went 1 for 4. That's ball 1 to Jimmy. Jimmy's making his 31st start in right field. He started 1 game at third base and 1 game at second base for the Astros. In for a strike, 1-1. Alexi Ogando started for the Rangers tonight in Tampa Bay. He went 5 innings, gave up 1 run. Jeremy Hellickson gave up 5 earned runs at 2 2/3. Texas leads at 6-1 after 6. Chopped outside the first base line. It's 1-2. So the Oakland A's are looking good in the AL West.
How do they do it?
Moneyball.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think it's Phil Garner.
Well, he works for that organization. He makes a contribution, that's for sure. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think he has turned them into a scrap heap of success.
Leake gets a strikeout. That's number 2 for him. All right, strange ball game here. Had some weird happenings early in this game.
Started right away, just a routine hopper back to the mound. Lyles on it and throws it away. Chris Carter can't come up with it, and that leads to a 4-run first inning, 1 earned run, and Jonathan Villar lines a base hit into left center field, gets thrown out trying to stretch. Jose Altuve reaches on a routine ground ball to shortstop, and it's just been on and on. It's had just a strange feel right from the start.
Villar looked at ball 1 there. He was singled, as you saw earlier. He's thrown out trying to stretch it. Change up missing, and that takes it to 2 balls, no strikes. It's 2-1 to Jonathan Villar.
We weren't sure if Jonathan Villar was going to come out for the second inning defensively, simply because he's been yanked one time previously for making a base running blunder.
Yeah, this club trailed 4-0 when he made that mistake, and the previous time he was taken out of the game by Bull Porter, he said you've got to watch the scoreboard, you've got to know the situation when you try to stretch a hit and take an additional base on it.
He's just such an aggressive player by nature, and you really don't want to take that away from him. You just want it shackled a bit by common sense.
Leake, with his first walk of the night, has a base runner, and it's Jose Altuve coming up next. Altuve leads the American League in singles with 130. And this is his 34th consecutive game that he has started for the Astros after having some quadriceps problems. Reached on that error by Cozart we saw a moment ago. That takes ball 1 there. Yeah, that is an award, the Roberto Clemente Award. Just being nominated for it should be an honor for Jose Altuve. And Jeff Luhnow said Jose Altuve exemplifies what we're looking for in our Astros players, both in the way he plays on the field and the way he conducts himself off the field.
Clayton Kershaw, the winner last year.
Ground ball, Phillips to his left. Makes the play over to Votto, and it's no runs, no hits, and a man left after 3, 5-0 Reds.
All the action of the 2013 Major League postseason starting October 1st. Check your local listings for details.
Starting October 1.
I like that. I like the early postseason starts.
Robinson fouls it away. There's strike 1 to Derek. Derek took the fly ball to left field in the second. Kind of an early start. That means the World Series should be finished before November, right?
Sometime at least by the middle or end thereof. Weather permitting.
No balls, 2 strikes to Derek Robinson. Chris Davis has done it again for the Orioles. Another home run. That gives him the single season Orioles record of 51 homers. Brady Anderson had the previous record.
As Yogi once said, he always thought the record would stand until it was broken.
Okay. 1 and 2. Well, he hit it against the Red Sox, who can eliminate Baltimore from the division race for the win tonight. That's his 6th homer against the Red Sox. That speaks well for him. He's hit 7 against the Yankees and Jays, 5 against the Rays. So he's done a lot of damage in the AL East.
Pretty well dispersed, huh?
Yeah. Bouncer and on through into right field. Robinson found a hole between Carter and Altuve. Carter headed for first base, and Robinson's aboard with a leadoff single. What are you thinking for AL MVP? Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout, or Chris Davis?
Look, it's Miguel Cabrera for me. I don't know how you go away from him. The Tigers have been a great team all along. The Orioles have been doing some backsliding, and the Angels have just not been there. But some great performances by the other 2 players, but Miguel Cabrera. You?
Stay with you. We're in agreement on that. Shin-Soo Choo looks at ball 1.
By the way, that base hit going through the hole on the right side by Robinson. Couldn't tell if I thought Carter had a shot on that ground ball or not.
Couldn't tell.
It broke away early, and that leaves you unable to make really a legitimate assessment.
Right.
Clearly there was no shot for Altuve. That's where, as a first baseman, you probably do need to play there a lot to make it a solid position, but you got to go for that ball.
Runner takes off. Corcoran with a throw right there, but Altuve could not grab it because the base runner was sliding in. Robinson, he got hit by the throw. So he steals it. That's his 4th of the year in 9 tries.
The throw is starting to drift a bit for Carlos from behind the plate, and this drifts into the runner. That makes it tough on the infielder. See a guy with a good jump and would have taken a perfect throw to get him.
2 steals tonight for the Reds. Pitch was ball 2 to Chu. He is now looking at a runner at second and nobody out. And a strike. 2-1. It's Orioles 2, Red Sox 2 there in the top of the 6th in Boston. Dustin Pedroia hit his 9th home run for the Red Sox. Cardinals lead the Rockies 1-0 there in the top of the 2nd. Swing there makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes to Chu. It's the Royals 3, the Indians 0. They're in the top of the 4th at Kansas City. Zach Greinke will pitch for the Dodgers tonight at Arizona against 14-game winner Patrick Corbin. Greinke also has won 14. 3 balls, 2 strikes for Jordan Lyles, who is at 66 pitches for the night. Garrett Richards will go for the Angels tonight in a late night start at Oakland against Sonny Gray. That's ball 4, and Chu has drawn his 105th walk of the year. Number 2 for Lyles tonight.
Astros pitchers just having a miserable time throwing Chu strikes. Apparently that's been the case for a lot of other pitchers.
Yeah. Now Phillips reached on the error by Lyles and singled to right field. There's an article on the A's today on Fangraphs talking about the Moneyball Oakland A's from 2000 to 2001. They had a .597 winning percentage in those 2 years combined, and they had 1.8% of the total payroll of all the American League teams. So talking about how they use their money wisely. Shot to center field. Barnes backing on it. Barnes there for the catch. Here's the tag at second, and the throw comes back into second base. Robinson gets to third on a long out, number 1 by Phillips.
Joey Votto has been pretty darn good here in the series, but he's been pretty darn good, and then some, for years now with the Reds. Lining the ball the other way twice last night. Astros started the night with a shift on against him. They've altered that now, coming back to more straight up, but he still finds a gap, shooting it into left field as he singles in his first at bat tonight. Just a great hitter. And I think if you present a guy like this holes out there, he almost has a way to find those holes. You want to be more equal in terms of where you pick up your hits. He gets his majority of hits to left field, but not by a whole lot. He's just a great hitter.
Now runners at first and third, 1 out for Votto. With that single in the first inning, he then hit a fly ball to left in the second. 1 for 2. And Lyles misses, ball 1. With Philip Umber warming up in the Astros bullpen, there's the power to the opposite field for Votto.
Yeah, that's rare when you're looking at a left-hand hitter to see the majority of home runs going the other way.
It's 1-1.
Now that ballpark the Reds play in Cincinnati, very good offensive yard. Ball carries well, fairly short fences, but it really shows what Votto does, staying on the baseball. Don't imagine Dusty Baker spends a lot of time worrying about Votto with a bat in his hands.
In tight, a ball, 2-1. You know, Dusty said before the game that he thinks the American League is a better league than the National League in terms of the talent.
Well, he's been around. I would trust just about anything Dusty says. Unless he says to me, here, try this, and hands me a toothpick.
You could be kind of the Ralph Garr of Astros broadcasting.
You have me nearly convinced.
You could broadcast with a toothpick. It would stop you.
Be all kinds of slurpy sounds going on. Okay, I'll try.
Dusty said the American League is tough. It's an offensive league. Even the worst teams can hit, he says. 3 balls, 2 strikes. But he likes the strategy of managing in the National League.
I think if you're going to be a manager, you probably would enjoy National League style of play. Although, more headaches would come with it.
3-2 now with 1 out, and Chu, the base runner at first, is being watched. Chu takes off, and the bouncer goes foul.
This is something that really good hitters seem to have as a commonality. When they don't center up the baseball with the bat, they tend to hit it foul. I've never quite understood why it seems to be this way, but then they'll put one right on the barrel and they'll hit it fair.
And when you think about it, it's preposterous to try to do what these hitters try to do. Square up around baseball and around bat.
I found that to be true for a long time.
Philip Humber continues to work in the bullpen. They're going again, and it's fouled again. But really, now you talk about trying to keep your bat on the same plane as the baseball, right? Is that what hitters try to do, Ash?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, there's a variety of philosophies that work and have worked for a long time. Flat bat coming through the zone, angled bat with the barrel down. But I think there's one thing that's true, and I think that's that good hitters, whether they stride early, long, short, or whatever, will keep their hands back and in hitting position. Jose Cruz was a guy that I played with that I thought was a great hitter. He would sometimes have the longest of strides, and people say, well, you can't hit when you have a big long stride. As you see the pickoff attempt to first base, left-handed first baseman might get an out right there. But what Jose Cruz did was the hand stayed back, and because of that, it didn't matter how long or how early he made that stride, he was able to adjust. What happens when you're trying to react to something very quickly, however, is you tend to flinch. You tend to open up on the front side. And that's why a lot of guys just can never become good hitters. But if you have that ability to keep hands back while anticipating making that swing, then you got something. And I think when you watch a Joey Votto, those hands are going to stay back no matter what. And that's why he can drive the ball to left field so well.
There it goes again, and it's ball 4 this time. Votto takes the walk. That's number 3 for Lyles. Base is loaded, 1 out now. And it's Jay Bruce batting. Bruce is 1 for 2, an RBI single to left. Bruce gets to a 30 home run, 100 RBI season, and he needs 1 more homer and 4 more runs batted in. Those numbers will be special again for Jay this season. He is hitting 300 with the bases loaded. The fly ball hits for left field and deep. Krause out of room. He backs off the wall. That one is in the seats. A grand slam for Jay Bruce. And he has now reached 30 homers and 100 runs batted in. A milestone swing of the bat for the Beaumont, Texas native. And it's 9-0 Reds.
Well, those Crawford boxes become awfully friendly for everybody, but in particular the left-hand hitters who put it in the air in that direction. And that's just taking full advantage of what in a lot of ballparks is a fly ball.
That's the third grand slam for the Reds this season. The sixth one the Astros have surrendered. And that makes it a huge 9-0 lead. The Reds hope this is win number 86 of the year, and it's a big swing for Jay Bruce. We'll be right back.
In September 27th through the 29th, Mariano Rivera and the New York Yankees come to Minute Maid Park for the Astros' final series of the 2013 season. Be a part of history as Rivera closes out his Hall of Fame career with special pregame ceremony on Sunday the 29th. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com for tickets, guys.
New career high for runs batted in the season for Jay Bruce now with 100 coming on the 4 runs batted in. On the grand slam is a 5 RBI game now, getting him to the century mark. And it's 9-0 with Philip Humber coming in. Xavier Paul, the batter, he walked and scored in the first, grounded out his second time up in the third inning. Humber 0-8 with an 8.27 ERA. And there's ball 1 to Paul. Well, last night it was a 5-inning relief stint for Lucas Harrell in relief of Eric Bedard. Now in the 4th inning, here's Humber coming in for long relief, it would appear. 9 runs on 9 hits and 1 error for the Reds. 0-2-1 for the Astros. That chop goes foul. So for Jordan Lyles, it's 3 1/3 innings of work tonight. 9 hits and 9 runs, 8 of them earned. With 3 walks, no strikeouts. Through 77 pitches, 49 for strikes.
Statistically not friendly at all for Jordan Lyles. And it all got started very poorly defensively by Jordan himself.
It's ball 2 and it's 2 balls and 1 strike now.
11 days since Philip Humber's been on the hill.
Now that's the difficult thing about a guy in his role. It can be a long time between appearances, but then once he gets out there, he's expected to be in for a while. 2-2. Jordan Lyles' ERA jumps to 5.32 after this game tonight. It was 4.92 when the game began. The Reds will probably find their eyes wandering to the scoreboard with this big 9-0 lead. Off the glove of Humber, and that will trickle out, and that will be another unfortunate occurrence for the Astros in this ball game defensively. Humber unable to play this ground ball off the bat of Paul.
There's a play that should be made. The inning started with a ground ball to the right side hit by Derek Robinson that found the hole into right field, and there's really no way of knowing whether it was playable, but my eye says there have been certainly first basemen that would have made that play.
It's ruled a hit for Paul, and now Frazier's the batter. And there's strike 1 to him. Frazier's 2 for 2 in this game. So 10 hits now for the Reds. The grand slam by Jay Bruce, the second of his career. You might have seen that up on your screen. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, between Jay Bruce and Joey Votto, this ballpark has been terrific for both of those guys. We're missing there, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Evan Gattis hit his 20th home run for the Braves in game 1 of their twin bill with the Nationals. The Braves lost it 6-5 though. Frazier's down on strikes. 2 outs. This is where we say down goes Frazier.
Would have been ideal had you done it right on the money.
Timing's everything, as you have said. Cozart has 3 runs batted in tonight. He's 2 for 2. Oh, those great fights or not. Frazier.
We were kids running.
Yeah. Slowly hit. Dominguez throwing to first base. And it's a 4-run fourth inning on one swing of the bat by Jay Bruce. It's 9-0 Reds. Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Jack in the Box. Go big at a participating Jack in the Box with Jack's really big chicken combos for only $3.99 plus tax. Huge lead for Mike Leake. And it's 9-0 Reds. They got a grand slam from Jay Bruce in that big 4-run fourth. They got 4 in the first as well, with 1 run coming in the third inning. And big night for some of the Reds hitters to fatten their batting averages so far, and have banged out a total of 10 hits in this game. Meanwhile, the Astros now come up with their 3, 4, 5 hitters in the home fourth inning. Mark Krause single to right field in the first. They had used the same combination of 1, 2, 3 hitters in the lineup for 12 games in a row until tonight. Trevor Crowe had been that number 3 guy. Krause takes ball 1. First time they had done that since May of 08. With the top 3 hitters in the lineup being the same for 12 consecutive games. And in May of 08, it was Michael Bourne, Kazuo Matsui, and Miguel Tejada. 1, 2, 3. Two and one. Michael Bourne and the Cleveland Indians will be awaiting the Astros as they go on the road again. And Thursday night's the opener of that 4-game series in Cleveland. Strike to Krause. That makes it 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Tribe hanging right in there in the AL wildcard race. Ash.
Is it Terry Francona? Is it a better new version of the Indians?
Is it Nick Swisher? Is it Michael Bourne?
Yeah. Well, Nick Swisher certainly had success with the Yankees. Michael Bourne is a very good player and kind of one of those guys that fills roles very nicely on a club.
Dallas Keuchel will be the leadoff man in the rotation against Ubaldo Jimenez. Deep drive left center field. Shoe back into left center for out number 1. Astros Trivia is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. See what we have tonight. Who was the first designated hitter on a National League team? Ooh, well, this is kind of a tricky one, Ash.
It's intriguing. That's a question I hadn't really even considered.
I think I know this because it happened in the World Series before it happened in the regular season.
Okay, so the original year of a DH was 1973?
Yes. But
so who was the National League entry into the World Series in 73?
Well, the National League entry was the New York Mets, but I don't think the DH was used that year in the World Series.
Okay, so now you got me spinning. What was the first year they allowed that to be a part of things?
I'm going to say 1976, and I'm going to say Dan Dreesen of the Cincinnati Reds.
Not Bernie Carbo.
Nope, not Bernie. But we'll see if that's right.
That was, if not my favorite World Series of my recollection, certainly in the top couple.
Dominguez takes.
Big Red Machine is part of things, and what a great club that was to watch.
1975 World Series with the Red Sox and Reds. That was your favorite?
Oh, 75 is that year. That's correct. Yeah. I whiffed by just a year, didn't I?
Well, you did, but that's okay.
That's okay. At least that's the way you're going to spin it.
Yep. Broken bat liner caught by Phillips. 2 outs. Let's see what that answer really is about the first DH on a National League team. It was Dan Dreesen. It was in 1976. That year, the Reds played the Yankees. So the Reds beating the Red Sox in 75, the Yankees in 76. That's the last time a National League team has won back-to-back World Series. And Dreesen played for both the Reds and the Astros. Red Wallace.
You are a font.
I am. Italics or bold?
Of huge knowledge. And it would be bold.
Okay.
If pressed.
Broken bat looper. Phillips made a spectacular effort to catch that single to right by Wallace. He came really close to making a leaping catch in right field.
He ran into a tag play a few nights ago up the first base line, high-fived the guy tagging him, and now plays like this. That's just purely having fun. Well, nothing wrong with it. If your manager sees nothing wrong, then go ahead and have fun.
He's leaving it all out there, Ash.
Well, he is. I have a feeling he's got more to leave.
2-out single. Now it's Chris Carter taking a leap curve, and it's strike one.
You saw the high-five tag out the other night, I guess.
Yeah, that was fun. He had gone back toward home plate, and then he decided, no, I'm going to run over and touch this guy's glove so he can tag me up. One of them. Well, as Pete Rose always said, Ash, and you probably heard him say it, the umpire doesn't say work ball, he says play ball.
Oh, there you go. And therefore you're allowed to make tags between your legs at second base.
Jump for balls that are 40 feet over your head. Well, remember Tejada used to do that. They used to hit line drives over his head about 20 or 25 feet. He'd jump up in the air.
You know what guys do during batting practice? Of course, you can't do it in the game. Guys become very adept at tossing their gloves up at line drives. And you'll hit a good percentage with your glove, and that ball will pop right up and you can handle it. Which is why you can't toss your glove at a baseball during a game.
There's a Rocco with a stop, 2-2. If you do, there is a severe penalty if you hit the ball with your glove.
3-base jump.
3 bases. What about, did you ever try the ball trickles out of your mitt when you're catching, rolls up the third base line a little bit, and you reach out with your mask and touch the ball with it?
Fortunately, I never tried that when I also learned the rule early on, but yeah, that is a classic boo-boo.
To right field, Jay Bruce in for it. That's what, a 2-base error, right?
I believe so.
Okay. And that's the 4th inning with no runs to hit and a man left, 9-0 Reds.
.com at BAT is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, and Windows Phone 8. At BAT delivers Astros baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details, guys.
Julia, earlier we wondered what your nominee would be for the top song of 2013. Have you come up with anything yet?
Oh, that's right. I thought about, what is it, the Bruno Mars song?
Oh, yeah.
That was so popular. They play it here all the time.
That's true. I don't remember which one it was, but it's good.
I think it was Altuve's walk-up song, or maybe Castro's walk-up song.
All right. Devin Mesoraco takes ball 1. Well, Ash came up with one, Julia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
he
curious.
did.
What kind of reaction was that? I want to know.
She was shocked.
Yeah. This ought to be good.
Ash came up with a song from 2013 and not 1954.
Okay, Brownie, you're pushing your luck now.
Sorry. What was that song you came up with?
I didn't come up with a song, did I?
Yes, you did.
Let's see. There's Katy Perry at the top of the list.
Roar was your song.
Yeah.
That was your song that you nominated.
Yeah.
That's a new one, too.
Yeah. Well.
And then came Robin Thicke, and I'm not going to go there.
All right.
Okay.
Well, what else would you have? How about country? Are we allowed to nominate country?
Well, why not? Why not?
And Dominguez takes care of out #1.
Well, Blake Shelton's everywhere, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Let's see.
Here's a question for you, Ash. Who do you think the top guitar player is right now?
In the world?
In the world, in music.
Rock guitarist. I enjoy Eddie Van Halen, but I think Joe Satriani is one of the elites. You know what's astounding if you actually want to get into guitar and look at the kids around the world, and I'm talking young teenagers and younger who are as good as anybody.
Robinson with a fly ball near the left field line. Krause over.
You check out the internet and some of the play of these young kids. It's just astounding.
Brownie, can I add one more to that?
Yes, please do.
Justin Timberlake
Okay.
has had some great. Suit and Tie was good.
Okay.
That was 2013, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Brownie, come on. Say yeah like you know.
Either then or 1964. I'm not sure which.
But he's come out with a couple of good ones. Jay-Z, I think, was that song.
Okay.
That song.
We're busy.
Yeah,
We're busy.
Yeah, we're
like
just,
I couldn't sit here and say, you know that song by that guy, that gal?
I barely get to listen to the radio. I just hear the songs in the ballpark.
That's right. And, you know, when you're in baseball, there's a high fly ball to right center field. Barnes with a long run. Barnes back there with a running catch, out number 2. When you're in baseball, you really don't have time to follow music.
Or follow anything.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on some great TV shows, apparently. That's happening.
Well, hopefully.
Brownie, I think you're going to go Jason Aldean.
Yeah,
that's where I think you're
right.
going.
I think you're right. Or maybe Carrie Underwood.
Yeah. There's always that gal. Her, you know, that gal that did that song. You know, that one.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she was wearing. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Carrie Underwood. No, not Carrie Underwood. That's not who I meant to say.
No.
All you have to do is watch the VMAs to get caught up.
There you go. Yeah. To get caught up with what's out there in terms of who's taking heat at this moment.
What you want to listen to and what you don't want to listen to.
Yeah.
As this recent one. I don't know if you guys caught any of that.
Caught the follow-up on everything. I think we were doing a game that night.
It was a Miley Cyrus night.
Yeah.
Robin Thicke.
Well, you know, Jeff Blum will be in here for the final series of the season.
He's hip.
He'll catch us up
you know
on
what?
all
That stung right there. The way that came out of her mouth. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
That stung.
I'm talking about me too, though.
Let me see if I can get that knife
here.
out of my back here. I can't reach it.
Oh, come on. But he's got the little girls, and they keep him hip.
Yeah, they do. And, you know, he was dancing on an on-camera open.
I saw it.
He and Ash did.
It was good stuff, too. I think he went to a Taylor Swift concert this year.
That'll keep you hip.
Can't think of a better way.
She, I believe she had a concert here at Minute Maid Park last year, right?
Yeah.
Paul McCartney was here in concert. Struck him out. And that's a 1-2-3 fifth inning, and it's 9-0 Reds.
Altuve and Astros alum Alex Trevino is part of our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. Jose and Alex will sign autographs from 11 a.m. until noon at the Whataburger at 11027 Fuquay Street in Houston. While you're there, register for a chance to win tickets to see the Astros take on the Yankees on Saturday, September 28th, and a behind-the-scenes tour of Minute Maid Park. Players subject to change and autographs will be limited. Offer may be void in your area.
Carlos Corcoran takes strike one, leading off the home fifth inning. He popped to third in the second inning. It's 9-0 Reds. Reds have out-hit the Astros 10-3, each club with one error. So Mike Leake has been handed this huge working margin. And there's a liner to right field. Jay Bruce in for it. Jay Bruce with the catch, 1 out. And Leake is shooting for win number 14 of the season. He would be 14-6 with a victory tonight. Reds have a pretty balanced rotation. There's that swing. So Leake would join Latos as 14-game winners with a win tonight, and Bronson Arroyo with 13. Homer Bailey's won 11. Emerson Grani currently injured and has 7 wins. Johnny Cueto has 5. He won last night. Brendan Barnes looks at ball one. He lined back to the pitcher. Cueto with 5 shutout innings last night. Pretty impressive. So he's in the mix now for postseason roster for Dusty Baker. And it might be in relief rather than starting. But if there's a 1-game playoff, and that would be the case if the Reds are the wild card team, 1 of 2, then Cueto, his status could be even more important because he could then be starting, and that's where a lot of teams really get trapped in this wild card playoff, they're almost forced to use their best starter, right, Ash, because they might be eliminated, and then that robs them of their best starter if they win and go to the next series.
I think it's a mandate. I think you have to win that game. I mean, obviously, if you're going to get into October play, you've got to win that ball game, and therefore you must go with your best guy. Although you get in a bind as a manager because you may be using your best guy down the final day of the season, and so I guess you play it out as it comes along. Dusty Baker, no doubt, has it all figured out at this point.
Well, he's not making long-range plans. He's made that clear. He said in the final 2 weeks of a pennant race, you just can't do that. Things change, as he pointed out, and he's right. So what he's doing is going with right-hander Greg Reynolds tomorrow night against Brad Peacock here. Reds are off on Thursday. Then they open up Friday at Pittsburgh. Matt Latos against Francisco Liriano. That could be a dandy Friday night at PNC. They go with Homer Bailey against A.J. Burnett Saturday. And that's a strikeout looking on Barnes.
Reynolds in the process making just his 4th start of the season. So I wonder if that's a calculated move on Dusty's part.
Could be. He moved back Latos to Friday. He wanted him against the Pirates. So presumably he'll shoot the works with that bullpen here if he needs to tomorrow night.
As you watch that pitch come across the knee area, you have to look all the way up to the front of the plate, and that probably right at the bottom of the knees.
Jimmy Paredes bangs one to center field. Chu is back. Chu with the catch, and after 5, it's 9-0 Reds. MD Anderson Cancer Center making cancer history. Larry Durker on September 17, 1969 becomes the first Houston pitcher to reach 20 wins in a 2-1 win at San Francisco. Doug Rader and Jimmy Wynn homer off Gaylord Perry for the decisive run. 20 victory season. The cheering is for Kiss Cam. It's currently being viewed by the fans here at Minute Maid Park. As couple was lip locked up there on the screen. Now we go to the 6th inning, and it's Brandon Phillips. Phillips is 1 for 3 tonight. The Blue Jays shut out the Yankees in Toronto 2-0. R.A. Dickey beating Andy Pettitte. There's strike one. Dickey goes to 13-12, and Pettitte is 10-10. Casey Jansen with save number 31 gets the final outs on a 5-hitter. They got home runs from Colby Rasmus and Rajay Davis.
Edwin Encarnacion has been shut down for the season.
What's his injury?
I'm not sure. I didn't actually follow up on that.
Line shot by Phillips into left field. It goes to the wall. Phillips heads for second base. That's his 24th two-base hit of the year, and he's 2 for 4 in this game.
Yeah, the Reds are making this look awfully easy here in the series. They look like a club that is pursuing October play.
And because they are, they'll keep pouring it on. They can't leave anything to chance this late in the season, needing every win desperately.
So you wouldn't anticipate Dusty here in the final 2-3 innings maybe bringing his bench on to play?
Probably not. He could.
It's that tough juggle, quite frankly, where you're trying to make sure that you play hard all the way through the wire and at the same time not injure anybody.
Exactly. Good point. Right to Votto. Votto's 1 for 2 with a walk. Just can't leave it to chance, though. And certainly people would say, what are you talking about? But if you've followed baseball for 10 or 20 years, you've seen some wild comebacks occasionally. And a team in the situation of the Reds team just cannot afford to have that possibility exist. So they'll pour it on. They're up by 9 now. What is the limit? Who knows? That's Dusty's decision. High drive. Barnes backing into left center field. He's at the wall right in front of it. Throws it in, and Phillips will go to third base on a long out number 1.
I don't think I've seen Brandon Barnes misread a fly ball all season long. Saw him break back on one and really have to come full bore in recently. That's kind of a standard among outfielders. But well, if he's got to go back or to either gap, back or in, he is there.
It's Jay Bruce. He's driven in 5 tonight with 2 hits, including his second career grand slam. The infield comes in with 1 out. That's striking.
Grand slam by Bruce. Just gets under it, hits that fly ball toward left, a bit toward left center, but finds the Crawford boxes. And probably thinking to himself, that was easy.
This one's in the air to left field. Mark Krause coming over. Phillips will go to tag. Krause with a catch. Phillips coming home. Throw to the plate. Yeah, they get him. Carlos Corcoran blocked him off home and held him off long enough to tag him out on the call by Marvin Hudson. And that's a 7-2 double play. Could have been a 6th run batted in for Bruce, but instead it's an outfield assist for Krause. And it's still 9-0 Reds in the 6th. Carlos Corcoran really was the guy who got it for him.
Nice job blocking the plate. Does he ultimately block it before the plate is touched? Boy, that's a tough call. That's a great job by Carlos.
Did Phillips sneak that right foot around before he was tagged?
Yeah, that's really tough. I'm not even sure there that I can give a definitive. Maybe here we can tell. Look at that left leg and foot. Just simply keep Phillips off the plate.
Strike 1 to Jonathan Villar. The Reds leading at 9-0. They've out-hit the Astros 11-3. Villar has one of those 3 hits and a walk. It's a 2-ball, no strike count, or 1-ball, 1 strike rather on Villar with Altuve on deck. The last start for Mike Leake brought him his 13th win, and he pitched shutout ball against the Cubs for 5 2/3. There were 107 pitches in that game. Now 2-1. It's a costly loss for the Yankees tonight, being shut out in Toronto. They were 2.5 back in the wild card race coming into tonight. 3 balls and a strike.
Mike Leake just kind of putting on a lesson of how easy pitching can look. He'll run that fastball back toward the plate, low 90s, and take a little off with a changeup, throw a little small slider. Just cruising along. Don't know that that's in the strike zone. Neither does Villar.
No. Villar takes it for a walk. Number 2 for Leake. Villar now has walked 20 times. His on base average before this game was .356. It's been a good 1-2 combination of Villar and Altuve.
If you take away, and you can't, the base running blunders for Villar, his on base percentage sets up beautifully as a leadoff guy. His ability to steal bags and take extra bases when he uses all the faculties on those plays. He's an ideal guy at the top of the order.
Altuve is 0 for 2, looking at ball 1.
Does take some honing at this point.
Suggest winter ball for somebody who needs some honing?
You know, a lot of the guys that come from the Latin American countries like playing winter ball anyway.
Goes out to Phillips. Phillips to Votto. Double play.
And with that in mind, I would probably say yes. It can only be good, I would think, for Jonathan Villar to play, and every time he makes a mistake, file it. And just say, I'm not going to let this happen again. I think defensively is the one area he really needs to get better.
Second double play of the night for the Reds. They are slick up the middle with Cozart and Phillips. Mark Krause singled to right in the first inning. He's 1 for 2. 5 of the 6 division leaders in Major League Baseball, according to CoolStandings.com, are 99% locks to win their divisions right now.
It's kind of become that year with winning a division. Now, I wonder what the odds are with the teams that are trying to pick up a wild card.
Not so good. Phillips in stylistically.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's the 6th inning with the score 9-0 Reds.
Heritage Street Festival presented by State Farm on Saturday, September 28th. The Astros take on the Yankees at 6:10, but come early for a free festival featuring live salsa music, dancing, an autograph session, beer, local food trucks as well. Game tickets are available by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or at astros.com. Philip Umber coming back here in the 7th, done a nice job as we haven't seen him since September 6th. He's already pitched 2 1/3 and doing a nice job of saving the bullpen. We've seen that 2 nights in a row now. Lucas Harrell doing the exact same thing yesterday, going 5. Harrell said his goal was to save the bullpen, keep Bo from going back out there as they get ready to head out on this 7-day road trip. Brownie.
That's right. Unlike the Reds, the Astros don't have days off. Changes now involve J.D. Martinez coming into play left field. We haven't seen J.D. playing for the Astros since July. And Brandon Laird is the new third baseman. Moving from left field to first base, Mark Krause. And we have a new catcher as well, right? Cody Clark.
Cody Clark's behind there.
There's Cody. Moving to the 7th inning.
So it's not Dusty Baker making the wholesale changes.
That's true. It went the other way. Xavier Paul has a walk and a single in this game. He looks at ball 1. Boston had a magic number of 4 to clinch the AL East coming into play tonight. Jack Hanahan's on deck for the Reds. Dodgers' magic number was 4 in the NL West. Atlanta's magic number was 4 in the NL East. Detroit's number 7 and Oakland's number 7. The way it looks right now in the American League, Oakland would meet Detroit in the first round of the playoffs after the 2 wild cards play. If Oakland clinches, of course, and if Detroit clinches. 1-1. That'd be a tough first round series for the A's. 1-2 to Paul.
Anything's a gift, though, when you don't have to play that one game in job between the wild card clubs.
Yes, it is.
That's tough.
Well, listen to these injured players that these teams who are playoff bound are trying to get healthy. Jacoby Ellsbury from Boston. Clay Buchholz, his back now, but they need to keep him healthy. And then the Dodgers just got Matt Kemp back. He pinch hit, made the last out last night. Atlanta has Jason Hayward coming back. And there's Miguel Cabrera for Detroit. He's been playing, but he's hitting .219 in September with no homers. Oakland, Cespedes is nursing a shoulder injury. And they're trying to get him back. And Alan Craig for St. Louis. He's been out with a foot injury. So some key guys trying to come back here in the late stages to get ready for playoff baseball.
Yeah, the Tigers laid an egg in the World Series last year, and I thought in good part because Cabrera was cold at the time. And I'm sure that has to be going through the mind of Jim Leyland.
Sure does. Paid attendance tonight is 25,582. Including the guy with the nice wide rimmed hat. Oh, you need one of those for these hot days. That's a great hat.
It's a safari coming up right after game time tonight.
Yeah. You ever been on a safari?
No, I can safely say I have not. But if I was to do it, I know where I'd go to find me a guide.
Yeah. Well, that looks like a safari hat. You're right. And great coverage from the sun, the blazing sun, while you hunt elephants. Not allowed to do that, are you?
I choose not to.
No. Foul away, 3-2. What would you be hunting if you went on safari? Would you be taking photos? You don't hunt, right?
Well, actually, I'm not a hunter. I went hunting one time and had my scope on Bambi and just couldn't do it.
Yeah. What's that all about?
It's my kind, endearing heart.
Oh, well, the guys are getting revved up for hunting season. A line shot into right center field. And that will be barehanded, or backhanded rather, by Jimmy Paredes, but it's a double for Paul. And for Paul, that's his 12th two-base hit of the year. The Reds keep banging out the hits. That's 12.
Well, like you, Brownie, I tend to hunt birdies and eagles if possible. Come up with very few, but
well, you know, the eagle is an endangered species.
Well, not by me, it's not.
Cesar Izturis is on deck as Jack Hanahan pinch hits for Todd Frazier. Frazier was 2 for 3 with an RBI. There's strike one to Hanahan. Hanahan has hit .227 for 132 at bats. He has 1 homer and 14 runs batted in. Maybe that's why those Eagles never show up on a lot of golf scorecards. They're endangered.
That's one way to spin it. Certainly are not endangered in my round most of the time. I know in yours they can be. Well, okay.
It's a balk.
Well, we didn't want the man at second.
So he's at third.
Boy, oh boy, what a night this has been.
A little bit of everything. A potpourri of mistakes in this game.
I'm not sure what catches right here. Usually it's a cleat on that front foot that might grab on the hill. Apparently everything is grabbed right now.
Yeah, the whole table is grabbing, so we can't show it to you. No balls and 2 strikes. The infield has come in now after the runner moved to third base.
It's kind of that halfway come in, and under the circumstances, I think definitely the best way to play this. The Reds would be very unlikely to be aggressive on this play, I would think.
1-2. Philip Humber, that rough start to the season. 0-8, then went to the minor leagues. He had been in the Astros rotation. That's flick foul. Humber has made 7 starts. This is his 9th relief appearance. For Rice Owl.
Tremendous highlight in his career, that perfect game last year. But from that point on, it has been pretty much a nightmare.
Phillips, 30 years old, from Nacogdoches. There's a foul tip and a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Humber.
He's throwing the high fastball right by. That is not the normal game for Philip Humber, but if you've got the heat on a given night, love to have that pitch.
Cesar Izturis is the hitter for Cozart. Cozart drove in 3 tonight after driving in 4 last night. What a huge series for him. Izturis takes ball 1. Well-traveled shortstop. He's been known as an outstanding defender down through the years. Reiner Cruz is warming up for Houston. Fly ball. Backs up Barnes a few steps. Runner at third tagging. Paul will waltz home to make it 10-0 on a sac fly by Izturis.
Just deep enough here to leave Brandon Barnes with no hope at the plate.
RBI number 11 for Izturis.
You kind of wonder as this ball takes off, not overly deep, might there be a play, but ultimately no shot.
Matt Latos greeting him. 10 runs on 12 hits now for the Reds, and it's Devin Mesoraco. He's 0 for 3. Mesoraco takes ball 1. Well, these two teams have had a long and storied history. The Reds have won 440. The Astros have won 399 in their head-to-head matchup. 1 ball, 1 strike, and back in the late 60s at Crosley Field, Jim Maloney pitched a no-hitter against the Astros, and they really rubbed it in. They won. I believe the score was 10-0.
Is that a game involving Maloney hitting a home run?
He might have hit a homer in that game. There's Barnes way back in left center field on a warning track. And in the 7th inning, it's 1 run, 1 hit, and nobody left. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning, 10-0.
And we turn our focus toward tomorrow. It'll be the Astros and Reds. 6:30 is when we begin right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Our starting pitching matchup is brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. Big Greg Reynolds, formerly with the Rockies, and Brad Peacock. Coverage begins at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Houston tomorrow night. All kinds of changes going on for Dusty Baker now. His club leads it 10-0. Jack Hanahan stays in to play third base after pinch hitting for Todd Frazier. And we have other new faces on the infield as well. Cesar Torres is the new shortstop. He pinch hit for Cozart. Henry Rodriguez is at second base. And new first baseman as well, Neftali Soto. 10-0 lead for the Reds. Shock troops are in the game, including Chris Heisey in right. And Brandon Laird bats for the Astros. In the game at third base, Matt Dominguez started and was 0 for 2.
Well, it started like a spring training game tonight, and it's ended that way.
Boy, a lot of players. 1 ball, 1 strike. September baseball. Empty the benches. 196, 3 homers, 8 runs batted in for Brandon Laird. Leak is over to field it. Taking care of out number 1. We checked. Maloney did not hit a home run in that no-hitter he pitched against the Astros in '69. He won it 10-0. So that's the current score, 10-0. But this was a no-hitter, 10-0. And Dave Bristol just kept pouring it on and yelling at the guys from the Reds bench on the Astros and made Don Wilson absolutely furious. Don Wilson was the next night's pitcher, and he pitched a no-hitter against the Reds.
How many times in the history of the game have there been back-to-back no-hitters in one series?
It happened with the Giants and somebody. It might have been the Dodgers back-to-back games back in the 50s, I think. Wallace fouls at 0-2, but yeah, to answer your question, maybe 1 or 2 other times. That's about it. In the same series.
Have there ever been back-to-back no-hitters by the same club?
In the same series?
Yes.
Don't think so. Nope.
Or otherwise, back-to-back nights for a single club?
Don't believe so. Wallace single to right in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. He's hit by that pitch from Leak. And Wallace is aboard with 1 out here in the 7th inning.
Wally didn't look like he had great desire to get out of the way of this thing.
Well, the count's 0-2. Might as well take one for the team, right?
He's kind of taking it, and hopefully not a whole lot of pain involved.
Now here's the return of J.D. Martinez. We haven't seen him in the batter's box since July for the Astros. Here's ball 1. Just activated from the disabled list Friday night. 256, 7 homers, 36 runs batted in for Martinez. He was on the DL starting July 27th with a left wrist sprain. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he's looking for work in winter ball because of all the at-bats and playing time he has missed. He sustained that injury while sliding into second base. In the air to right field, Heisey moves in for it. That's 2 outs. The Tigers lead Seattle 4-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Detroit. And Miguel Cabrera hit his 44th, Ash.
No surprises with that guy for me. Big thing if you're a Tigers fan is getting him hot once play gets serious in October.
Yeah. Cody Clark bats and takes strike one. Carlos Corcoran was 0 for 2 while he was in there. Cody is 1 for 28. What a relief when he got that first major league hit. Everybody was cheering for him, except the other team, of course.
I'm not so sure they weren't involved.
They might have been.
Big smile down at first base. Yeah, I think that for Cody, just be as aggressive as you can be at the plate. Defensively, he can play.
That first hit came on Friday against the Angels. He had been 0 for 25. And now a strikeout ends the 7th inning. After 7, it's Reds 10, Astros nothing. Number 3 of the night. Reiner Cruz has come out of the bullpen. And the right-hander, who has just returned from AAA Oklahoma City in 15 games with the Astros, is 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA.
He's got very good stuff. One thing that Reiner Cruz has shown us is a fastball mid to upper 90s. And he's got one of those arms that you just immediately project as being capable of pitching successfully in the back end of the bullpen. Time will tell if he can put that together.
Jake Elmore has entered the game in center field for Brandon Barnes.
Is there anything Jake Elmore can't do?
Well, he's played all 9 positions, and he's been involved in Dancing with the Astros. So to this point, no, there's nothing he can't do.
Seemed to be the favorite contestant in the dance competition, but kind of had one get away from him. Got to have a good closer if you want to win that thing.
Derek Robinson's the batter. He's 1 for 3. Philip Humber went 3 2/3 innings. His ball went to Robinson. Humber gave up 3 hits and 1 run with no walks. He struck out 3. He threw 48 pitches, 33 for strikes. Jordan Lyles, the Astros starter, in 3 1/3 gave up 9 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, walking 3 with no strikeouts. In the air to left field, J.D. Martinez. 1 out for Reiner Cruz. Billy Hamilton is the pinch hitter. The big stolen base champ in the minor leagues. Hamilton is 0 for 2 in the major leagues this year. Last year he stole more than 100 bases. He's been in 6 games and he scored 4 runs, but he has 2 at bats. He's a switch hitter. And Hamilton usually comes in to pinch run. He's 5 for 5 in steals as a major leaguer. You talk about fast. This guy is the definition of fast. Stole a base in each of his first 4 games, and when he comes in as a pinch runner, everybody knows what he's going to be doing. He could still steal those bases. He stole 1 off Yadier Molina.
So he's got to be intriguing for Dusty Baker. Does he make a postseason roster because of that ability to come in late and be utilized as a pinch runner?
His fly ball goes to left field. J.D. Martinez in. 1 out. Yeah, that's what Dusty wants to find out, if he can help in the postseason.
Sometimes that's one of the spots on your roster, that guy that can make a difference in the 9th inning, stealing a bag, scoring a run.
Now Henry Rodriguez comes up. Hamilton is the first player in the live ball era to record 2 steals and 2 runs scored in his first 2 appearances without a plate appearance. Strike 1 to Rodriguez. So yeah, he's going to be really fascinating to watch in terms of A, does he make the postseason roster, and B, can he come in and do that in a tight situation? Can he steal a base? Well, that's a specialty use, isn't it? Coming up late in the year to be a pinch runner, get an occasional at bat.
The answer to that question, can he steal a base, seems to be an assured yes. Can that become a need that requires him being on the roster, the 25-man roster, going into postseason play? It's one that every club at some point faces. You need that guy that can steal the bag, maybe play defensively, and I don't know what kind of a defensive reputation Hamilton has.
Billy Hamilton's 22 years old. It's going to be fun to watch his career as the Reds utilize him. Cruz reaches up. Tosses out Rodriguez, has a 1-2-3 8th inning. It's 10-0 Reds.
Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico viewers, listen up. Comcast Sportsnet covers the entire 5-state region, and we want your story ideas. Email us your story ideas at regionalroundup@comcastsportsnet.com. Guys.
Julia, Jake Elmore's batting here, and it's 10-0. He became the first player in Astros history to play all 9 positions in one season. But you were telling us about him in the Dancing with the Astros competition Sunday.
I've never seen anyone take it so seriously.
Okay. So tell us, how did he look?
He looked great. He has a little rhythm. I think he might have been a little nervous because he wanted it so bad.
Okay.
He was also first. He performed first out of the 5. That might have had something to do with it.
Yeah. Now, we didn't get into this last night, but did these guys have all different types of music?
They did. 3 of them had Latin music, whether it was merengue, salsa, cha-cha. I believe Jake had a cha-cha, and he danced to You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. Keuchel had the jive, the winner.
Okay.
As well as Cozart.
Now, Trevor Crowe, he kind of looked like John Travolta, right? With that shirt?
Exactly, yes.
Maybe in the attire, but yeah, okay. I want to hear what Julia has to say about Trevor Crowe, because a little bit I saw there. Well, I just want to know what she has to say.
Yeah.
Trevor was entertaining. He almost killed his partner at the end.
This sounds couched.
I wish we had that part of the very end. There was a part where he was going to slide in between the legs of his dancer who was in a pose. She was ready and posed. And he about knocked her out.
Oh, no. Was it a little bit like Jonathan Villar's slide in the first inning?
I wasn't going to go there.
Okay. You don't have to go there. I already did. That's strikeout number 5 for Mike Lee.
Again,
just saying.
Again, redefining headbutt.
Yeah. Jimmy Paredes the batter. He's 0 for 2. Sounded like fun, though. It sounds like it's going to become an annual event.
I hope so. It was a lot of fun. The guys really got into it. They were a little nervous at first, especially Cozart. He even said that. But once they got out there, and they were full out, and the guys had a good time with them. Their teammates with the judging. It was fun.
What was the length of their routines?
About 2 minutes.
Wow.
It's a long time. If you've ever been on stage doing a dance you just learned the minutes before.
2 minutes can be a long time. You're right. That's out into shallow center field. Paredes has looped one in for a single. That gives Jimmy a 5-game hitting streak. He's aboard for Jonathan Villar. Villar's been on all 3 times tonight.
Get jammed, fling one into center field. A bad way to do it. Calls for some sunflower seeds.
Villar singled in the first inning, and he's walked twice. Altuve on deck. That's a shot toward right center field. And it's caught. Izzy over there for out number 2.
It's an unfair game. You can put it on the barrel and make an out after having watched a teammate just thumb one out to the outfield for a base hit.
Yeah. Altuve is 0 for 3 tonight. So his September surge has been slowed down by Mike Leake. Altuve came into this game 4 for 12 lifetime against Leake. And that's strike one. Giants lead the Mets 7-4, top of the ninth inning. Angel Pagan hit his 4th home run. Tigers are trying to close out the Mariners. It's 6-2 Detroit in the bottom of the 8th. That's poked over first base up the right field line. Altuve wants a double. And Heisey picks it up. He's going to make it with a double. And that gives him a 5-game hitting streak. Double number 29 for Jose Altuve.
Altuve once again proving that tail section and direction of hit don't have to go in the same direction. Look at him just body flying toward third base, but flipping one down the right field line. He's uncanny with this ability.
That's 166 hits for him this year.
Those were our fans of the year. That might be the first time I've seen fans not reach over for a live baseball.
Yeah. That might be. Mark Krause is 1 for 3. Brandon Laird's on deck. Leake delivers ball 1. Leake has hit the century mark in pitches thrown with 100. Cubs and Brewers are tied at 3. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Milwaukee. Wellington Castillo has hit his 8th home run. Carlos Gomez, number 20. Wellington hit one last night. It's 2-0. White Sox lead the Twins 3-1. They're in the bottom of the 6th. Indians and Royals in a big one with wild card implications are tied 3-3. Bottom of the 7th inning in Kansas City. Cardinals 10, Rockies nothing. Bottom of the 5th. Strike 2-1. So St. Louis is locking one up early out west with home run number 20 from Matt Holliday. The Reds and Cardinals both leading by 10-0 scores. Foul ball makes it a 2-ball, 2-strike count. And as for the Pirates, who have been falling upon hard times lately, they lost to the Padres 5-2. Eric Stultz went to 9-13 with the win for San Diego over Jeff Locke, who's 10-6. Rick Gregerson got his 4th save. Inside, and it's 3-2. So the Padres are really spoiling the week so far for Pittsburgh. And now Cincinnati will be headed for Pittsburgh for the weekend. Could be a very upsetting week for the Bucs. The Orioles won 3-2 at Boston. Tommy Hunter won it. In the dirt, and he swung at it on appeal to the third base umpire, Wally Bell, for the strikeout on Krause. That's number 6 for Leake. That ends the 8th inning, and it's 10-0 Reds. Rough night at the office. We go to the 9th inning.
Kind of a summary judgment there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Now Soto will lead it off in the 9th for the Reds. He's batting for the first time. Carlos Soto called up from AAA on the 2nd of September. There's strike 1 to Soto. Soto's had 7 at-bats with no hits. He struck out 5 times. This is his 3rd stint with the Reds this season. He pops it up. Krause turns away from it. Altuve calls him off. 1 out.
Stay tuned after the game for Astros Postgame Live, presented by MD Anderson.
Reiner Cruz is pitcher number 3. He has retired 4 in a row. Chris Heisey's the batter. Jay Bruce had quite a game tonight, batting in the number 4 spot before Heisey replaced him in this position in the lineup.
Did you notice Jose Altuve's basket catch right there? We had him nominated for the Roberto Clemente Award before the game today, and saw some sights of Clemente and the catches he would make in the outfield, that same type of catch. And I wonder if there was anything to that.
Maybe that's why he did it. Altuve, let's see if he does a basket catch here. No. 2 outs.
He's versatile with his catching of pop flies.
Xavier Paul comes up. Paul has 2 hits and a walk tonight. The Rangers snapped their 7-game losing streak. They won 7-1 at Tampa Bay. And they now have pulled into a wild card lead with the Rays again. Alexi Ogando winning his 7th of the year. He's 7-4. He beat Jeremy Hellickson, who's 11-9. That's ball. So a sigh of relief in Arlington, Texas, as the skid has been broken. Ian Kinsler started it with a home run on the first pitch of the game. He hit number 12. Andrus and Martin added home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Oakland is playing in a late game out west, and it's the Angels won, the Athletics won. They're in the top of the 2nd inning, and Mike Trout has hit his 25th home run. It came off Oakland starter Sonny Gray.
You want to know how much they love baseball in St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area in Florida?
Uh-oh. Yep.
That one got away.
That hit him.
10,786 was the official attendance tonight to watch their Rays play the Texas Rangers. You're going to get more meaningful baseball for them in the month of September?
Well,
I don't know. It's just really bad.
Wasn't that about the same attendance figure you gave last night?
Probably in the same area. I frankly let that run through, but yeah, it's not a baseball hotbed.
Ball 1 to Hanahan, who struck out earlier. So 2 teams tied for the wild card lead, and they drew 10,000.
That's it.
Well, there's talk of a new stadium there, of course.
Which will help for 1 year like it did in Miami.
Yeah, that's the real issue. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Nationals swept their doubleheader from the Braves. They won the nightcap 4-0.
Here come the Nats.
Yeah. So the way it looks, they would be 4 games behind the Reds. Or no, 4.5. 4.5 behind the Reds.
And I'm sure the way the Reds will look at it is all we have to do is take care of our own business. But as you see with the Pittsburgh Pirates, a lot easier said than done.
And a strikeout ends it here in the top of the 9th inning for Reiner Cruz. We move to the bottom of the 9th. It's 10-0 Reds. Fairlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Capital One. Spark unlimited business checking from Capital One Bank with unlimited transactions. The Reds will take Mike Leake out of the game and reintroduce Sean Marshall from their bullpen. He's been on the disabled list, and he was just reinstated from the 60-day DL last night. In 11 games, he's 0-1 with a 2.57 ERA. And just a great opportunity for Dusty Baker to ease him back into the late inning spot. And he might be a real staple come playoff time for them,
I would imagine the Reds are thinking of a guy like this to be able to get left-handed bats during the postseason, but it's the right-handed hitters that he's given an impossible time to. That's 0 batting average against, and it all adds up very nicely for the lefty.
Sean, 31 years old, and he's been quite a lefty late inning man throughout his career. with the Cubs and Reds. Drafted by the Cubs in 03. And it's Brandon Laird leading it off. Foul back by Laird. He grounded out to the pitcher in the first inning. So for Mike Leake, it's 8 innings of 5-hit shutout ball, walking 2 and fanning 6. Tanner Roark threw 7 shutout innings for the Nationals in that nightcap. 105 pitches for Leake tonight. On the way to win number 14 of the year for him. Foul ball off the bat of Laird. That makes it no balls, 2 strikes. And Pagnozzi comes out to the on-deck circle for the Astros. Marshall's been out with a sprained left shoulder. And earlier he was out with left shoulder tendonitis. This is his first outing for the Reds since May 20th. It's 1-2. Well, that could be quite a boost for a bullpen to bring a guy like Sean Marshall back and give him roughly 11 days of work. Maybe get in 3 or 4 appearances, something like that, between now and playoff time. Get some confidence going for him. Struck him out looking. And out.
Breaking balls early, comes back with a fastball with 2 strikes, and it appeared Laird was guessing off speed.
Jonathan Broxton is hurt and unavailable out of the Reds bullpen, but they can do some wheeling and dealing with their lefty closer, Aroldis Chapman, and with this man Marshall to be the left-handed setup man, and then alternate with the right-hander. Pagnozzi 2 for 17 with the Astros. And that takes ball 1. Red Wallace was 1 for 2 and was hit by a pitch as the starting DH. Pagnozzi pitch hitting for him with J.D. Martinez on deck. So 1 ball, 1 strike count. Sean Marshall went to Virginia Commonwealth. Starting pitcher earlier in his career, has 59 major league starts. Came up with the Cubs in 06, but by the 09 season he had turned to excellent relief work. His ERAs have been low. Bounces that breaking pitch for a 2 ball, 1 strike count. In 2010, Marshall had 90 strikeouts in 74 innings. Last year he pitched 73 times and saved 9. On that slant he gets a strike, and that makes it 2-2. Pagnozzi started 5 games with the Astros. Now Jason Castro, who was placed on the disabled list earlier tonight, not in the mix to catch anymore, and so we might see even more Matt. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Max Stassi in Florida now. He could return. The plan is for him perhaps to return by the time the Astros get to Texas to play the Rangers in the second leg of this 2-city road trip coming up, and maybe Monday night. Bo Porter would like to see Max Stassi catch a couple of games if possible. That's a strikeout looking. 2 in a row for Marshall.
Pagnozzi appeared to feel like that curveball might have been a bit high, but when you get in this type of a 10-0 ball game, certainly best served by swinging it. Nice job catching the curveball very deep so it drops as far as possible by the catcher. See glove right on chest.
Sure was. J.D. Martinez hit a fly ball to right earlier. Moves back from ball 1. Tomorrow night in the finale of this series, the Reds will turn to Greg Reynolds. He's 1-2 with a 5.66 ERA. The Astros match up with Brad Peacock. He's 5-5 with a 5.27. Peacock's first career appearance against the Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Peacock over his last 9 appearances has a 4-2 record and a 3.44 ERA. The Astros have been shut out a dozen times. The Reds have pitched 16 shutouts this year. The complete game shutout isn't really often witnessed very much anymore in Major League Baseball. Of the Reds' 16 shutouts, only 2 have been complete game shutouts. 2 balls, 2 strikes, one by Bronson Arroyo, one by Homer Bailey. And that was a no-hitter by Bailey. Dusty Baker's club perhaps a pitch away from going 86 and 66.
Dusty can't get away from those wristbands from the playing days.
No, he can't. Low foul, third base side. Cubs and Brewers are tied 3-3 in the ninth.
Dusty is simply player adorned. That's all it comes down to.
All about getting hot at the right time when playoff time rolls around. Fly ball goes to right field. Heisey waiting, and the Reds are hoping they will. They have a 1-2-3 ninth as Marshall returns, and it's a 10-0 shutout win for Cincinnati. The Reds going 20 games over 500, and they'll go for a 3-game series sweep here tomorrow night.